How do you get a year's worth of grain in on time? With a Massey-Ferguson combine. From the MF 540 to the big MF 760, you get real grain handling capacity from front to back and clean whole grain in the tank, bushel after bushel. That's why we say you got what it takes.
With Massey-Ferguson.
And this year's new Massey-Ferguson combines have more to offer than ever before, like new floating cutter bar tables with special new reels to reduce wrapping, and a whole new series of quick-attach corn heads designed to put more grain in the tank. Plus, an all-new 14-channel electronic monitoring system on 700 series combines.
And welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show whose ongoing claims about diving into the great audiovisual landfill seem to be getting perilously close to becoming literal. So anyway, late last year I was rooting around good old Fleabay looking for some candidates for a hopeful eventual and hopefully all reel-to-reel radio commercials episode. And at one point I found this mixed lot of tapes and literature from a retired, if not dead at this point, Massey-Ferguson employee, probably a salesman. And for the uninitiated, Massey-Ferguson deals in heavy-duty farm equipment, so tractors, combines, that sort of thing. And they exist over in Europe as well. I think they're pretty well known. But anyway, I wound up being the only bidder on this thing, and it was a nice low bid, and the shipping wound up being far worse than the item. But unfortunately, the material wound up being far worse than anything else. Yeah, you're in for yet another Ben versus episode here.
I'm up to my knees in cows. I'm shoveling my blues away.
Lots of things happen on a feed yard. All of them important to optimizing productivity.
I'm starting to think that my transformation into country bumpkin is complete. Over the last year or two, I've started to pick up some more decidedly rural archive candidates. Which reminds me, I really do need to post that bunk management tape to Archive Annex sometime. Anyway, at the same time, social media seems to be convinced that I'm an aged farmer or something. My personalized ads have gotten a bit dirty, literally. So I guess it was kind of poetic that when my Massey-Ferguson media lot showed up, it was just chucked into a box. And of course a bit dirty and stinky. It smelled kind of like fertilizer of the naturally occurring variety. I'm pretty sure this stuff lived in a barn for the last 25 years. I mean, it did come from rural Missouri. Anyway, the included 3 reel-to-reel tapes were not only moldy, but the reels proper had some kind of weird buildup, which, despite numerous cleanings and stabs at disinfection, got no better. The one and only videotape in the lot seemed to be splattered with small amounts of feces. I did everything within my power to resurrect the lot. To the best of my abilities, the tapes were all cleaned, disinfected, re-lubed when possible, and when necessary, baked. I was able to transfer all the tapes, but the quality is variable, and one of the reel-to-reel tapes seriously dry shed when transferring it. All the camcorder footage you see in today's episode is of those transfers in progress. I wasn't too confident about getting a second or third pass, so I just wound up setting up the camera and lights and ran a second feed of the audio into the camcorder as a failsafe, and just hoped for the best. If memory serves, on the second archive thrifting episode I did after moving here to South Dakota, there's one of my constant segments where I'm digging through a bin of old records. But in one of those segments, there's an album I come across called A World of Winners from 1978. And I am absolutely kicking myself for not picking that up. For one, it fetches some pretty good money on Discogs. but also because it's an album for Massey-Ferguson. And to make matters worse for me, the A-side is a full-on industrial musical, so an archivism right there, and the B-side is a full set of radio commercials for Massey-Ferguson. And that album would have saved me a lot of heartburn trying to get to the bottom of this one. So anyway, the 3 reel-to-reel tapes that were in this lot comprise about 3/4 of the ads that appear on the B-side of A World of Winners. And they all feature this comic duo, and they're kind of these stereotypical country bumpkin hick hayseed types, and it's very much hee-haw humor here. So anyway, when they call each other's name, it's a little tough to understand them because they're really playing up the accent here. And to make matters worse, on these raw reels, if you've ever come across one of these things before for radio commercials, usually an engineer will punch in before each ad and do an audio slate. So commercial number such and such, take number whatever, and so on and so forth. But the engineers on this, and it seemed to be a different one for each ad, couldn't seem to pronounce the names the same way twice. So getting back to A World of Winners here, on the Discogs listing, thankfully somebody scanned the front and back covers. And sure enough, on the back cover, we've got a picture of our 2 characters, decked out in full goofy country clothes and silly wigs and stuff. And as it turned out, their names are Willard and Rayford. Yeah. So anyway, Willard is kind of an idiot, but he's apparently trying to run an entire farm with only one piece of equipment, a quite elderly mule, an actual mule. And then Rayford is kind of the sort of goofy sitcom-style neighbor that's always there, and he's kind of sadistic. But he also has this bizarre major boner for Massey-Ferguson stuff, even though I'd be willing to bet heavily he owns no Massey-Ferguson gear himself. So anyway, finally getting down to business here, the complete set of ads, and actually the entire World of Winners LP, is on YouTube, but the quality sucks. So since I've got these at 7.5 inches per second, seemingly only one generation removed from the masters, whole track, just good quality stuff, I will post these reels to Archive Annex. And really this applies to everything I'm covering today. I think everything is going on Annex. So anyway, of these ads, I'm gonna just cherry pick a handful for this episode. So here are my 6 favorite Willard and Rayford ads.
Massey-Ferguson, Willard and Rayford, R7816, Tractors General, 60-second dealer commercial.
Willard.
Rayford, what?
I just seen that Massey-Ferguson 2805 tractor.
Ooh,
It's the biggest 2-wheel drive tractor in North America.
bigger than Mabel's sister.
Oh, yes.
That's big.
Boy, that thing's got 190 horsepower in it.
Oh, don't say horsepower in front of Cassie.
I wouldn't say it behind her.
No.
They got a bunch of models run all the way from 100 horsepower up to 190 horsepower, and you wouldn't believe the visibility in the cabs on those things.
Better than a hole in the barn?
Lots better. And guess what?
What?
Every one of them big Massey tractors has got that Perkins diesel engine in it.
Perkins, they save on fuel.
And they're reliable, too.
Yeah, would you push on Cassie?
What for?
She's standing on my foot.
You can't move?
No. Where are you going?
See the full line of Massey-Ferguson tractors from 34 to 190 horsepower.
I'm gonna go finish your pie.
But I've been saving that.
Sit, Cassie.
Oh. When I'm calling you.
What in the world's going on in here? What's all the racket in here?
Ooh, I'm singing.
What?
Singing.
Oh, I wish you'd quit it. Boy, I'm trying to read this new Massey-Ferguson ad in the paper.
Oh,
Look at all the stuff they got here. They got big round balers, rectangular balers, got rakes and mowers.
More's than the greatest.
Willard
love in the
Aloysius, if you
world.
don't quit that, I'm going to rip that wart right off into your nose. Now be quiet. Look, here's all that new stuff Massey-Ferguson's got. Boy, they got 2 brand new hay tenders, Why, Massey's got 2 new forage harvesters. Why, they even got a self-propelled swather in there.
I'll be down to get you in a Massey, Cassie.
Will you stop? What are you yelling in her ear for?
She likes it when I sing to her.
The only reason she likes it is your breath keeps the flies off her.
Oh,
See the full line of hay and forage equipment at your Massey-Ferguson dealer.
I'm singing
Lord, I wish
in the
you'd be
grain.
quiet in here.
I took singing lessons.
You better take them back. Willard, where in the world are you?
I'm down here.
And what in the world are you doing in the
I
well?
don't want to talk about it. Throw that bucket down here.
Okay.
Oh,
Now get up here now. We're supposed to go down to the Massey-Ferguson dealer with Bill.
okay, haul away.
All right, he's going down there to look at some of that big tillage equipment, don't you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Goes to that big Massey tractor of his. He's looking at all of it. It's got moldboard plows down there.
You know, you're getting a triple chin.
Stop it now. They got reversible plows, chisel plows, and disc harrows, field cultivators, tillers, subsoilers, and all that.
You're
Here,
ugly from down here, you know that?
here, get up here now.
Oh, here, give me a hand. I'll go in there and put some dry clothes on so I can see Mabel while we're in town.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
Wanna bet?
There's a full line of Massey-Ferguson tillage equipment to match your tractor power. See your Massey-Ferguson dealer today.
Willard, where you been? I just heard me some good news.
I don't need no shoes.
No, not shoes, news. I was listening to the radio.
You was on the radio?
No, I wasn't on the radio. I was listening to the radio. Massey-Ferguson. They got special deals on most all their machines.
I don't like jeans. I like overalls.
No, not jeans, machines. Listen to this now. You can buy a new Massey-Ferguson combine, hay baler, forage harvester, tractor, or implement. Very attractive prices and very little down.
I just come from town.
Not town down. And if you finance with Massey-Ferguson Credit Corporation, depending on the equipment you buy, you pay no finance charges till the season of use next year.
I don't like beer.
Not beer year. Massey-Ferguson will also give you cash back on your purchase.
Who'll give me cash back?
Massey.
Cassie, best mule I've ever had.
Not Cassie the mule, dude. Get on that mule
Look at
again.
her, she's smiling.
She ain't smiling. She's got gas.
Cat, don't walk behind her.
Watch out.
Good news travels fast. See your Massey-Ferguson dealer before October 31st.
What are you doing out here in the barn of that old mule?
Where have you been? You smell like an Avon lady blew up in your face.
Well, I've been downtown with Bill.
Sure you have. You've been sparking.
I have not. We went down to the Massey-Ferguson dealer. You won't believe what Bill got. That brand new grain combine, biggest thing I ever saw.
You're
Boy,
kidding.
they got some attractive prices on that equipment. Low down payments. He financed it through the Massey-Ferguson Credit Corporation, and he bought it before October 31st, so he don't pay any finance charges till August 1st next year.
August 1st.
Then this other fella come in, got a combine for his corn and soybeans, and he don't pay no finance charges till September 1st.
September.
And then they got a chunk of money back based on their purchase and the amount they paid, or their trade-in.
Then what'd you do?
We went over to Mabel and he bought me a coney and a cream soda.
Mabel.
Yeah,
I love Mabel.
she asked about you.
She did.
I told her you died.
For a great combine deal, see your Massey-Ferguson dealer before October 31st.
By the way, I got a date with her for tonight.
That's cold. Breaker.
What are you
I'm
doing?
hooking up a CB to my mule Cassie to speed up my haying operation.
Why, you old goat, that ain't a CB. That's a tin can with a string tied between her ears.
Got some nice antennas, ain't she?
Well, anyway, listen to me. I'm talking to you about speeding up your haying operation.
10-4.
I just heard on the radio where Massey-Ferguson's got real attractive prices on their balers and forage harvesters and swathers, just about anything you want.
Oh, yeah?
There's special low down payments. If you buy before October 31st and finance through the Massey-Ferguson Credit Corporation, you don't pay no finance charges till June 1st next year.
Oh, 10-100 for Cassie.
Oh, Lord, not again. And listen, that ain't all. Listen to this. Massey-Ferguson's gonna give you cash back
Cash back.
on your purchase based on the amount you pay or your trade-in.
You know, we ought to get out of here.
Why's that?
I think Cassie just fouled the airways.
Oh, I'm heading for my 20.
Boy, it's rank.
Oh, yeah.
Good news travels fast. See your Massey-Ferguson dealer before October 31st.
Massey-Ferguson, farmers first and foremost.
Of the 13 tapes in the lot, 9 of them were audio cassettes, and all 9 of them are more radio commercials. And we're really picking up immediately where the last batch left off. But unfortunately, no more Willard and Rayford. So those Willard and Rayford ads were for 1978 and then just spilling a touch into 79. These pick right up in January of 79. And I feel like we've kind of unintentionally run right into the middle of the Carter-era recession and the shenanigans going on with oil in the Middle East at the time and all sorts of stuff going on in the world back then. So we've gone from nice 7.5 per second open reel whole track stuff to 1 7/8 per second cassette stuff. And we've gone from those really nice, well-produced Willard and Rayford ads to just a plain voice. No music beds, no nothing. And not even a spot at the end, even though you're supposed to supply your own, a spot for you to do a local announce. So visit such and such at such and such a location. Visit your local dealer, whatever. And not only that, the ads just roll right into each next one. So if you're going to do a live announce, you better be pretty quick on the draw with that cassette deck. And if you want to do a pre-recorded thing, well, you're going to have to dub it to another tape and do a little editing, and it's just not going to be pretty. So anyway, in all fairness, starting with tape number 3, things do start to pick up a little again. You start getting some music beds again, and you finally get that magic spot at the end where you can do your local business. And then we get up to, I believe, tape number 6. So there are 2 tapes that are narrated by Will Rogers Jr. So big names here. But, of course, if you're familiar with Will Rogers Jr., his entire career was just him riding his father's coattails. Of course, Will Rogers Sr. died in 1935, so we were already 40-plus years removed from the real thing. And to make matters worse, he quotes his dad quite a bit. So then we finally get to the last tape. Now we're up to 1981, and I'm going to say that that last tape is one for the ladies, because it kind of sounds like they want you to make a little time with the stud muffin that is the Massey Man.
I'm up to my knees in cows.
Massey-Ferguson, 60-second radio spot, new tractors.
You know, buying a new farm tractor is an expensive proposition these days. The cost of steel and other products that go into a tractor keep going up, and finance charges aren't going down. As a farmer today, you need to take full advantage of any savings that come along. That's why you really ought to consider buying a new Massey-Ferguson tractor before year end. It offers you 2 ways to save. First, you'll pay no finance charges on a new Massey-Ferguson tractor until April 1st, 1979, when you finance with Massey-Ferguson. That can take a lot of pinch out of your monthly cash flow. Second, there are real tax savings to be made by buying before year end. Depreciation allowances and investment tax credits can take a big chunk off your 1978 tax bill. Yeah, now's the time to buy that new tractor and save at Massey-Ferguson. Looking for a good deal on a used combine? You've got what it takes at Massey-Ferguson. Yes, sir, your MF dealer has a great deal on used combines because it's time for spring house cleaning. And listen to this. When you buy a used combine, you get a customer parts purchase certificate worth up to $1,000 on the purchase of MF parts from your Massey-Ferguson dealer. And if you finance with Massey-Ferguson, You pay no finance charges till June 1st or September 1st, depending on the type of combine you buy. But hurry, this offer ends April 27th, 1979. Yes, sir, you got what it takes with Massey-Ferguson.
For Massey-Ferguson, Will Rogers, Jr.
You know, I used to look forward to getting my allowance when I was a kid, just so I'd have something to jingle in my pocket. Well, your Massey-Ferguson dealer's got an allowance that'll give you more than jingling money. Factory allowances on tractors from $250 to $2,000. But the allowances end September 28th, so see your Massey-Ferguson dealer soon. But first, you better get a bigger pocket.
For Massey-Ferguson, Will Rogers, Jr.
That's the sound of quality being built into Massey-Ferguson's new 2000 series tractors. And the folks at Massey-Ferguson are backing these tractors with a 4-way satisfaction program. It includes an established trade-in value, a 2-year or 1,500-hour warranty, special financing, and complete satisfaction, or you bring the tractor back. See your participating Massey-Ferguson dealer for all the details.
Well, spring is here. There's a lot of farm work to do, and you could win a new MF 205 compact tractor to help you do it. Massey's giving away 20 of them in our spring tryout sweepstakes. So enter early and often at your Massey-Ferguson dealer. Like the sound of that?
Yeah!
Then tell me about it.
Massey makes sense.
One more time.
Massey makes sense.
I'll say, especially with the big factory allowances your Massey dealer can pass along to you now through May 2nd, 1980.
Massey makes sense.
No doubt about it, these factory allowances mean big savings on most Massey-Ferguson tractors, combines, hay tools, and implements.
Massey makes sense.
Spring tryout sweepstakes.
Massey makes sense.
It's a winner.
Massey makes sense.
You know, farming can be a tough business. Tough on you, and tough on your machinery. So when it's time to start passing out the tender love and care, it pays to know a Massey man. He's right there when you need him, with top-drawer service. And if you own Massey-Ferguson equipment, you'll want those genuine Massey-Ferguson parts to go with them. Chances are, he's even got one of those computerized part systems that can locate a part anywhere in North America if he doesn't have it in stock. So even in an emergency, chances are real good your Massey man can have you rolling again in a flash. And by the way, he specializes in preventive maintenance too. And that's the best way to miss bigger problems later on. So don't wait. Get acquainted with your Massey man soon. Go on, give him a call. Right now.
The one and only videotape in today's lot was a bit of a head-scratcher for me. So this is from 1980. It's called The Magic of Closing, and yeah, it's a sales training video, but it's for Chrysler Motors. So I did do a little digging around, and I found that Massey-Ferguson did use Chrysler engines for a while, but it looks like that it all ended well before 1980, so I can only speculate here. Either there was some sort of lingering deal with Chrysler going on here, because a lot of the sales techniques would apply just as well to tractors. Or, and probably more likely, our Massey-Ferguson salesman was moonlighting at a Chrysler and or Dodge dealership at some point and just absconded with one of the training tapes. So, anyway, speaking of the tape proper, I think I can safely say this was the worst transfer of the lot. It had gone sticky, of course, And also, if you look at the bottom of the label, you can see a little splatter down there. Those are the remnants of what I tried to clean up, and I'm not entirely unconvinced that it's fecal matter. But yeah, I did my best to clean and disinfect this thing. As I mentioned, it was sticky, so I baked it. But it just doesn't play too terribly well. I mean, it does stabilize a bit in the middle of the tape, but parts of this might make you a little seasick. And it's a real shame because as far as industrial films go, this is fairly well done. I mean, I wouldn't call it great or anything, but it certainly isn't terrible. And to make matters worse for Benny the Techie, this is only, I think, the second pre-recorded, as opposed to off-air, beta tape that I've ever come across to be recorded in the original B1X1 mode. So anyway, as for the content of the tape, if you're a real die-hard archive viewer, you might recognize the guy that plays the Chrysler salesman in here. Specifically, he appears in one of the Disco Vision Dead Sides videos. And all I can say is I think the dude might have been a bit of a car slut.
Remember how often you've heard about the magic of closing a sale? How closing is the big step in the sales process. Okay, let's kill the lights. And can we stop the effects track? Okay. There's no more magic in closing than there is magic in magic. Unless, of course, you believe in magic. And I don't. The first closing power you have up your sleeve is knowledge. Knowledge of the product and knowledge of the prospect. Any salesperson realizes he's got to get to know the prospect, his wants, his needs, his fears.
Now, let me be absolutely sure I know what you're looking for then. You certainly don't want another wagon, is that right?
Right, now that the kids are gone.
But you want an automatic transmission?
Yeah.
An engine with good power?
Sure.
And good gas mileage?
Who doesn't these days?
You're right. The price differential amounts to only pennies a day. Small price to pay for all that, isn't it?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Your third major closing power is the power of legitimacy. You follow the dealership's procedures and paperwork guidelines, and that builds an image of you in the prospect's mind, an image that you are a professional, a businessman. You use business-like techniques to conduct your business. At closing time, the prospect should have few doubts about you or the product. Now he has to have that image reinforced. If you pretend to be the final authority, he'll test you in the eventual negotiating process. So establish other authorities who will back you up. The manager or dealer.
You know, I like dealing with somebody who knows what he wants. Let's figure that up.
These 5 sales powers are the basic components of closing. Your power of knowledge, your power of value, your power of legitimacy, your power of authority, and your power of assurance. So, when do we talk about closing? Well, we just did. If you understand the prospect, and he understands you, his closing time objections will be fewer, easier to handle.
This guy's defensive and uncomfortable. He's afraid, but he doesn't want to show it. Let's see if I can help him relax.
That's a lousy price. I told you I was looking for a good deal. I don't call that a good deal.
Do you feel that's more than you wanted to spend?
Well, you better believe it. You're going to have to trim that a whole lot before you trade with me.
Well, I don't blame you for wanting the best deal you can get. If I were in your shoes, I'd certainly want to do the best I could.
How much too high do you think the price is?
You've just seen the first 5 steps in the objection handling process. What the salesman has done here is what is most important of all. Get a commitment. There's no sense in even attempting a concession that will result in no decision. And notice something else. He didn't offer to make a price concession. He simply said, if I can get my manager to improve that deal.
Would you like to take delivery on this tomorrow afternoon, or would Thursday be better? I'll need your approval so that we can have plenty of time to...
But suppose the prospect says something like this.
Well, that looks pretty good to me, but I really hadn't expected to buy this soon. I think I better talk it over with my wife.
Sure. You want to call her from here?
No, I think I better bring her in.
Well, that's okay, because we're open this evening. I'm sure she'll like it.
Tell you what, Hank, would you come in here a minute? Let's just sit down and talk about some of the aspects that we've discussed in this program. For example, give me some of your ideas on power.
I work from a position of power.
But how far does this power concept really take you?
My power becomes his persuasion. He'll buy only if he really wants to buy. But I have to make it easy for him to do it. Everything I do, from the minute I meet him to the minute he leaves, is aimed at getting agreement.
Okay, let's have the lights up. And let's stand by on the effects track. We started with our magician, so let's close with him. I think you'll agree that what he does and what you do in the closing room have a lot in common. Don't knock yourself out pulling rabbits out of hats. Spend your time pulling good deals out of prospects. You can do it.
That's the end of the tape, but not the end of the program. With this tape is a workbook, which gives you some review information. Please take a few minutes to read it and answer the brief quizzes. Then perhaps you'll want to see the tape again to confirm what you've learned. When you have completed the quiz questions, turn them in to your manager. He'll see to it that the completion statement is filled in and returned to the sales training department in Detroit.
In the literature that came with the lot, I found this whole bunch of radio commercial scripts, specifically for the 1994 models of Massey-Ferguson tractors. So we're jumping way forward in time here. But I figured just for a lark, over the end credits today, I would attempt to cold read one of the 30-second spots. And of course, knowing Slowpoke Old Benny Boy, it'll take a lot longer than that to actually read it. And knowing me, I'll probably embarrass myself, but what else is new? Otherwise, that is it for today's archive. Join me next time when I report to you live from my doctor's office, where I'm going to be getting a whole round of tetanus boosters. Ugh. Massey-Ferguson's outstanding lineup of 1200 series compact tractors from 17 to 35 engine horsepower is waiting for your selection at enter dealership name here, in enter location here. You'll find that these great-looking compacts set the standards in operator comfort. Open, uncluttered decks, smooth-running diesel engines, and hydrostatic or 16-speed synchro shuttle transmissions are just some of the features you'll like. Match the tractor of your choice with a variety of implements for lawn maintenance, landscaping, or general-purpose chores around your home or farmstead. Don't hesitate. Take your turn in the operator's seat of a Massey-Ferguson 1200 series compact tractor today at insert dealership here in insert location here.